Tutorial Tuesday here at To Be Remembered Designs. My name is Melissa Marty, and today we're going to talk by request about Project Life and creating Project Life templates to use. If you aren't sure what Project Life is or how it could work for you, you can do a quick Google search of, I just did what is Project Life, and if you go to the Google images you will see all kinds of examples. Project Life basically is a way for people to scrap quickly, and they oftentimes do a layout per week. So this page, for example, here would be a week in review in this person's life, and this would be the next week. So then by the end of the year you have 52 pages that are done and your whole year is documented. So that is the Project 52 craze that is sweeping over both the land of traditional scrapbooking and digital scrapbooking. And it is not the only way that you can use layouts like these. These are very organized, grid-like layouts. I don't do Project Life scrapping, but I do like to use these layouts once in a while. It's kind of a breath of fresh air. Everything is clean and organized. It's a way to do a page very quickly and easily. So whether you're going to do this as a Project 52 book and you're going to start out at the first of the year, for example, and work your way through 2014, or whether you have been doing Project 52 all year and you're just sick of having to buy templates all the time, or whether you just want to do this as kind of an occasional way to scrap to include in your digital books. It's up to you. But here are some examples, and I'm going to show you how to make these templates. These are super easy templates to make because everything is very ordered, very aligned, and most of things are the same sizes. So these are easy to make in a snap. All you have to do is kind of browse through here and pick a layout that you like, that you'd kind of like to duplicate. So you can go through, you can right click and save images if you want, so that you can, save them for later and see them, or you can just kind of keep them in your head. I have a couple layouts that I made already for you. So I have two layouts that I made, and the first thing you need to decide is whether you want your layouts to have space between the photos and boxes like this one has. You can see I left a little bit of space so you can see the background, or if you want it to be flush. So that's up to you. You can see the two differences here. Same page, just one with space and one with not. This would be easier because you wouldn't have to worry about a background paper, obviously, but this one adds a little bit more definition between the photos. I like this way, so I'm going to kind of show you how to do it with the spacing between your elements. And this is what we're going to start with. I'm going to show you how to do this layout. I'll show you how to walk through and make it in Storybook Creator. And I know some of you are not Storybook Creator users, so for those of you who are not, I'm going to, at the end, I'll walk you through this one in Photoshop. And if you make it through this video, at the end there's a little prize for you. So even if you're going to skip the Photoshop spot, fast forward to the end and get your prize. So here are the two layouts we're going to work on today. So first we will do this one. So you can see it has 5 4x6 spots and then 2 3x4, and those are the general sizes for Project Life. The bigger boxes are generally 6x4, 4x6, and then the smaller ones are 3x4 or 4x3. So just keep those in mind, and we are going to get started. Now in my Storybook Creator page, I'm going to start by creating a box. So I'm going to insert an empty frame. And if you right click, you can go to properties and you can make it exactly the size you want it. Now if you do not want any spaces between your different boxes, go ahead and make it 4x6. So to do that you have to uncheck the aspect ratio box here, and you can go, see mine were tall, so we want 6 tall and 4 wide. And you can do that, and then you can place it at the edge of the page. If you don't want any spaces, then you would just copy and paste it 5 times, and then we'll make the smaller boxes. I like the spaces, so for me, I choose to reduce my boxes by 5%. So to do that, I've done the math for you. You can pause and write this down if you'd like now, or print screen me or something. So if the typical sizes are 4x6 and 3x4, that will not give you any extra spaces between your boxes. If you would like some space, I reduce them by 5%, so your sizes are then 3.8 by 5.7 and 2.85 by 3.8. I know it's not the easiest numbers to remember, but just have them written down somewhere handy so that you can refer back to them. So I'm going to go back to here, and I'm going to change this and make it the 3.8 by 5.7, and I'll say OK. And then I'm going to right click and copy, and I'm going to paste it 4 more times. Control V, 2, 3, 4, Control V. And so then I'm just going to kind of place them where I want them, and we will align everything in a few minutes. Alright, and then I need my little boxes that are going to go on the top and the bottom. So we'll go to Insert Empty Frame again. And that box, unclick this, is going to be 3.8 wide and 2.85 tall. And we say OK. And that should fit perfectly right up in there. And we're going to copy it, Control C, and paste, Control V, and we'll move it to the bottom. And we've got the basics of our Project Life template made already. Now we need to align. So remember that you can hold down Shift and click, and then if you go to the Arrange tab, or you can right click, you can align. So here it's going to align the top edge of the last selected element, so it'll bring these two up to this one. And then I can move them back down a little bit if I want to center them a little bit better. Alright, and then we're just going to kind of work our way around. So I'm going to hold down Shift and click the bottom ones, and we're going to align the bottom. That'll be this one. And we're going to align the rights over here. And align the left. We need to align the middle ones. And that's all the aligning we need to do. And now you can see that things aren't quite spaced evenly here, so I'm just going to kind of move things over. I'm just using my arrow buttons when I do that. I'm just going to move that up a tad. And that looks pretty good. Maybe these can come over a little bit. And move this over a little bit. So if you hold down Shift, remember you can always move things a little bit at a time by using your arrow button. So hold down Shift to select as many as you want, and then just use your arrow buttons to move it a tiny bit over to the left or right or up and down until you have it how you like it. And there you go. So now at this point I would go File, Save As, and save it. You can have a separate folder set up if you want. New folder for Project Life Templates. And then you can name this like Template 1 or whatever you want to name it. And now you have it saved as a template so that you can come back in week 20 or week 33 or week 42 and you can use the same template over again. Completely up to you. So I'm going to next add my pictures in. Now if you get to this point and you're like, crap, my pictures are going the other way, I don't have that many vertical pictures, you can certainly rotate this. You would just go to Home, Canvas, Rotate. And you can rotate it left or right, whichever way you would prefer. If you do that, it's going to rotate your pictures also. So now when you drag and drop your pictures in, like if you wanted to drag this one in here, you can see it goes the wrong way. And that's okay. Just click on it and go to Format Photos and rotate it back to the right again. So it's a little bit of a pain, but it beats having to remake the whole template all over again. So I'm going to remove that photo and rotate my canvas back because I had it how I wanted it before. So rotate to the right. There we go. And now I can just drop my pictures in. I don't remember how I had these in my sample, so I'm just going to kind of rotate and drop them in randomly. You can resize, you can zoom, do whatever you'd like. And we'll do this one. There we go. And I'll zoom it in a little bit. Okay, so now you can pick which kit you want to use, and a lot of kits these days come with journal cards that are set up to be perfect for Project Life. There are some designers who do it more often than others. I'm going to use a kit by Sugar Plum Papery. She has her Days of the Week series, and this is the Sunday one. It has some really pretty journal cards in there, so I'm going to put this there. And since this is all kind of grays and blacks and blues and silvers, I'm going to go ahead and make my photos black and white. Just give it a second. Okay, and then let's also fill in that bottom. Let's see, this is a tall one, but I can still use that little today at the bottom, and if I just drag it up, you can have that down there. I need a background paper since you can see my background. Let's do this one. And then I just go to Home, Align, and you can center it on the page. In order, send to back. I'm going to add a little shadow on everything here. Just a light shadow. That's up to you, personal preference of mine. And then also, well, I can see this got a little bit close now with the shadow, so I'll move it back over. I like to round my corners on my Project Life pages. It's a personal preference. You don't have to, but a lot of times you'll see that the journal cards will come with their corners already rounded. So if you select all of your layers here, and then go to Corner Cutter, you can go ahead and cut your corner. 15 is the size I usually use, somewhere between 10 and 20, so I picked 15 for today. But you can experiment, and you can see what happens if you drag your corners bigger or smaller. So I'm going to stick with 15. And say OK, and it'll take a second because it's going to cut all of the corners on my page. And then once you go ahead and get all your corners cut, you can finish adding in any extra embellishments you want, your journaling. The beauty is that you can make it as simple or as complex as you want. Some people really layer up the embellishments in these extra journal boxes. Some people keep it very simple and just put the dates or a quick little story or a couple little word arts over the pictures. It's completely up to you. I already have my page done, so I'm not going to make you sit and watch it, but I will show you again what it looks like. So here's my final. So you can see I added a little journaling, a ribbon, a flower, an arrow, a little gem over here, and a little word art. So very quick, easy, simple. The whole layout took me about 15 minutes to do. And the best part is now when I save it, I'm going to go File, Save As, remember, and then save it as your, so I'll say Wedding Rehearsal Project Life page, or whatever you want to save it as. And then I'm not going to save it in my Project Life templates. I'm going to save it like on my desktop or somewhere else. Because now I have a blank copy of this ready for me to use again or share with friends. Maybe you and your friends each want to make 5 Project Life templates, and then you can share them with each other, and you'll have a ton of them to use throughout the year. And you don't have to buy a thing. For those of you who are Photoshop Elements users, you can make Project Life templates there very quickly also. So you'll go to create a new file, 12 by 12, or whatever size you're scrapping in. And you will just go ahead and, I'm going to zoom in just a little bit, you're going to use your shape tool. So let me go back and show you one of the other layouts I have done. Right here. So you can see what we're going to mimic. So I have 4 4x6 boxes and then 4 smaller ones in the middle. So that's what we're going to create. And then you'll have the template and you can use it as much as you want. So I'm going to create a rounded rectangle here. You can pick a regular rectangle if you don't want the rounded rectangle look. I like the rounded rectangle again. So, and I use a radius of 0.25 inches. Again, that's just a personal preference. You can play around with it. And your rectangles are going to be whatever color is here in your foreground, but it doesn't really matter because you're going to put a picture over it anyway. And then if you go here, it defaults to unconstrained, but if you go to fixed size, you can make it be your 4x6 or your 5.7 by 3.8 if you don't want to have it all butt up next to each other. And then once you have that set, you just click and it will make a rectangle for you that's that size. I want 4 of them, remember, so I'm going to click 4 times. And those are my 4 big rectangles. I'll align and move things around in a little bit, just let me get them kind of placed. And now I need my 4 smaller ones. So I'm going to pick my rounded rectangle tool again, and this time I want it to be 2.85 by 3.8. And I'm just going to click 4 times so I have my 4 across the middle. And you can just kind of pseudo place them, and then we will use the align tools in a minute and get them perfect. So let's fit to screen. Oops, fit screen. And you can see that I have them not quite right there. Alright, so let's see if we go down a little bit here. And we're going to click on this one and hold down shift so you can click more than one. And we're going to align down here at the bottom to the right. And it will make sure that they're all lined up. And again on the left, click those 3, align to the left. We're going to align our tops. If you have your snapping grid on and align the bottoms, a lot of times you are already lined up when you do this. I'm going to nudge these up just a little bit so I have more room in the middle here. And next we're going to align these to the left. That way this middle one gets lined up. And we'll do these to the right. And then you can just see that in the middle here, these are going to butt up because they are exactly half of this size. So if we go and zoom in just a little bit, we can just make one of them a little tiny bit smaller. So I'm going to pick this one and just kind of drag it in just a tiny bit. Whoops. I'll zoom in a little bit more so I have even more control. There we go. And then we're going to come over here and do the same thing to this one, just so I have that little space between. Oops. Go over and say OK. And then you can see I don't have a lot of space in the middle here, so let's fix that. So go back out to fit screen. And I'm going to click on the 4 on the right half and just kind of move them over a little bit so everything's spaced. And that looks pretty good. And you have your layout, your template set. So now I would go to File, Save As, and I would go find your folder where you have all of your Project Life templates saved. And I would call it Project Life, or Template 2, or whatever. I don't remember what we call the other one. Template 2. So now we can go ahead and add our photos and our papers and everything, but you also have this set as a template that you can come back to and use it again, 3 weeks from now or 2 months from now or whenever you want to do that. So now you can add your photos. So to do that, let's go back and look at my sample real quick just so I can kind of refresh my memory. Okay, so grab your photos right here. And I'm just going to drag them in. I do Control A for select all, and then Control C for copy. And then pick where you want it to go, and Control V for paste, and Control G to group it. And then you can resize it so that it will fit how you want it. I do not pretend to be a Photoshop expert, so you may have different tricks that help you get it done just as quickly. I'm going to go back, or even quicker. If you do, feel free to share. Here is my next photo, so I'm going to do Control A, Control C for select all and copy, and then I want it to go here, so I'm going to go Control V for paste, and Control G to group. And then I want to Control T to transform it so I can make it smaller. I know some of you are on Macs, and those commands are a little bit different too because you don't have a control button, you have command. So then you can just go ahead and go through like this and add your photos. So Control A, Control C, Control V, Control G, Control T, all at once there. Alright, almost done, couple more photos. You get the idea. So you can go through and keep doing this as much as you want, all your photos, add your papers in. here, so Control V to paste, G to group, T to transform so I can resize it. I'll do one more picture and then we'll add a couple embellishments in. Control A, Control C to select all and copy, and then paste, group, transform. I'm going to go up like this. Okay, and everything is already rounded, so we don't have to do any rounding. So now let's go to our kit that we're going to use, and this is another one of the Sugar Plum Paperies days of the week I'm going to do this Saturday. And let's see, I like this a lot, so let's add this in. Control A, Control C. We're going to put that here, so Control V, and then G, and then T. And it's already good size. I didn't have to resize it much at all. And then let's do a big one for the title block. Control A, Control C, and then Control V, and then G, and then T. Oh, and this one came in smaller, so we can go ahead and make it bigger so it fits. Alright, and we'll move it over to cover up all of our ugly green. And there you go. So then you can add in your background paper if you would like. See, this one. Alright, and then we can send this to the back. Send it back. And then you can go ahead and add in your journaling, any other embellishments that you want to use, your shadows if you want any shadows, and then you are done. And when you are done, make sure that you save it. Do save as so you don't copy over your template, and then save it somewhere else, like on your desktop, and you can call it whatever you want. So you can call it, some people do like week 42 project life or something like that. Just make sure that you don't copy over your template file, because then you'll have to go through next time and get rid of all of these photos before you put your next photos in. Okay? So now, here's your prize for listening to the end of the video. If you now send me a message on Facebook, I am at To Be Remembered Designs on Facebook. If you send me a message saying that you watched the video, I will send you both of these templates in Storybook and Photoshop format. So you will have this template that we just made and this template all done for you. So just send me a quick message saying, hey, I watched the video, and I will send you the link to download those templates. And again, I will show you quickly what you will be able to make with them. Get rid of this for a second. So this is the first one, and this is the second one. So I will send you those templates if you send me a quick message saying that you watched my video, and don't forget to share the video with your friends. Thanks a lot, and I will talk to you next week.